Kohl's came out with its second quarterly earnings before the bell this morning, and the numbers are reflecting how consumers have pulled back on their spending. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Brooke DiPalma, who listened in on an earnings call to give us some more insight into what's going on. Hey, Brooke.
Good morning, Rochelle. That's right. Executives here really looking to strike an optimistic tone as we look out to the second half of this year, despite it being a not so great earnings report. My overall vibe check here, I'm in the middle. Earnings didn't do that well, but on the call, they really tried to stay upbeat after they saw what happened to Macy's on Tuesday following their Q2 results. Executives here really trying to show investors that they're focused on the long-term growth strategy and kept mentioning that these results were as anticipated. Now, some key takeaways from the call is that the beauty business is booming for Kohl's. We saw Sephora, a strong growth there. They mentioned that in 2021 and 2022 Sephora stores that opened, they're seeing a sales increase of 20% in those locations. They also mentioned that Sephora business is bringing in new and younger, diverse consumers. They also anticipate that they're going to open 900 stores by the end of 2023. In Q2 alone, they opened more than 200 Sephora locations. Now, once again, this is inside of the Kohl stores. They also said they're seeing customers look to brands like the Sephora collection, as well as Rare Beauty, in addition to Fenty and Charlotte Tilbury, which typically have a higher price point, in addition to men's lines even, like Jack Black. Now, this fall, they hope to expand that business with their gifting assortment at Sephora. That was highly successful last year. They also aim to bring that customer over to more businesses like home decor as well as gifting. Now, moving right along, something that spooked investors on Tuesday from Macy's that Kohl's really tried to look to get ahead of was the CFO said that credit card payment rates are down and losses are up. They said that obviously this was an increase over a really low rate last year, but as once again anticipated, they did take early actions as they anticipated this macroeconomic environment to worsen and people to have less cash in their bank accounts. They did say that payment levels are still above 2019 when it comes to credit cards. But they did launch a credit card, interestingly enough, with Capital One. Jill Timm, CFO, they're saying that they want to use it to offer a new vehicle to customers who maybe didn't want to use a private label credit card. All of this, Rochelle, is in a bid to really capitalize on that younger consumer. And interestingly enough, on the call, CEO saying that he's been going with the chief merchandising officer to New York every week to bring on new brands into Kohl's merchandise, opportunity there, really looking to capitalize on those younger customers that are flocking to Sephora and get them to go further into the store.
And it's true, even things like when you can do your returns at Kohl's now from Amazon, it gives you time to sort of walk around and see what else is out there. I do want to turn to another topic, which is shrink, because that does seem to be mentioned more and more on these earnings calls. Do they have anything to say on that?
Yeah, Rochelle. Well, Kohl's certainly not immune to the bigger problem that we've been seeing in retail when it comes to shrink. Gross margin was 39% in Q2 for Kohl's, and they said that there was a decline of 61 basis points, and that was really, driven in part by higher shrink. CFO Jill Timm weighed in on how the company is working to mitigate the issue. Take a listen.
We've taken different measures. We are, cabling product to fixtures. We're going to just testers within beauty. We have more attendants in the fitting room. We have more presence in the front of store. So we're doing everything we can to mitigate shrink, but really prioritizing the safety of our associates and customers. But I think until, it's going to be a retail problem until we see, a bigger step up, I think legislatively. So it's something we've planned for and have put in our expectations.
And we've heard from so many experts that this is an all hands on deck issue. It not only falls on the retailer, but it also falls on legislators as well as consumers to flag issues. And as you can see here, Kohl's is not alone in mentioning shrink on their calls. We saw Home Depot, Target, Walmart, Macy's, and Kohl's today mention this as a real issue.
And we certainly do see those, disturbing videos of, people, masked and coming into these stores, swiping things. So clearly something we're still continuing to contend with.
Yeah, Nordstrom
out.
Appreciate
that update for us.
And really quickly,
yes,
Rochelle, Nordstrom out tomorrow. And of course, just a few weeks ago, we saw that be a major issue out in LA. And so certainly expecting to hear more on that.
Indeed. Appreciate that update. Our very own Brooke DiPalma.